My most recent DEXA scan came back at 9.75% body fat. I was stuck at around 20% for the longest time. I'm Dr. Jon Go, I'm an ophthalmologist here in LA, and I help busy people get lean without blowing up their lives. Most guys stuck above 20% body fat think that the answer is more cardio, deeper cuts, and more willpower. The real problem is that the wrong kind of effort piles on stress, and that stress works against your body. These are the 10 mistakes I fixed to get there. Mistake number 1, doing the wrong kind of cardio. Here's the pattern I see constantly. Someone decides to get lean, laces up, and immediately starts doing cardio. The issue here is that the cardio they do is too intense. Zone 3 or 4 at 85% of their max heart rate. They do it for a week, they're barely breathing, their legs are burning, and then they quit. And that cycle of starting and stopping oftentimes does more damage to your progress than not starting at all. Cardio at that intensity level, without the cardiovascular base or engine to back it up, just tears you apart. Your body can't recover or sustain it, especially when you're already running a calorie deficit and a demanding schedule. Plus, at high intensities, your body prioritizes glycogen, carbs, as fuel rather than fat. I'm not saying never run hard, but if you're stuck at 20% and you can't stay consistent, that intensity is the wrong tool. Zone 2 is the fix. So 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, walking, easy cycling, light jogging, incline walk. Basically, whatever you do it at a pace where you can hold a full conversation. Fat oxidation is higher at this intensity. You can recover from it more quickly, and you can do it almost every day without burning out. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Mistake number 2, drinking alcohol. This one cost me years, if not decades. It's the single biggest change I made, going from 20% to 10% body fat. Not reducing, eliminating. And here's the science on why. While your liver is metabolizing alcohol, fat oxidation drops. Alcohol is toxic, so instead of burning that steak you just ate, your body shifts to burning alcohol as a priority to get it out of your system. Alcohol can also acutely blunt testosterone at both the testicular and pituitary level. It's super calorie dense at 7 calories per gram, which is denser than carbs or protein, and it lowers your food inhibitions and self-control. You're consuming more, you're burning less, and doing it with disrupted hormones. On top of that, alcohol disrupts your sleep architecture even when you get a full 8 hours. And here's exactly why that matters. The most important hormonal work, growth hormone secretion, HPA axis reset, testosterone recovery, happens during REM and deep slow wave sleep. And alcohol suppresses both. You can sleep 8 hours after drinking and wake up with altered hormonal signaling. Mistake number 3, not eating enough protein. If you're in a calorie deficit without adequate protein, your body breaks down muscle for fuel. You lose weight on the scale, but your body composition gets worse. That muscle loss slows your resting metabolic rate. That's the calories you burn at baseline. And now your deficit shrinks or even disappears entirely. Here's the fix. For a healthy person, target roughly 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight daily. That maps out to about 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram, which is where most of the research lands for people in a deficit who are also lifting. For a 200-pound guy, that's about 160 to 200 grams of protein. But quick caveat, if you have kidney issues, check with your doctor before going that high. Protein also has the highest thermic effect of food. Your body burns 20 to 30% of protein's calories just by digesting it. No other macro comes close. Mistake number 4, ignoring fiber. I was averaging 8 grams of fiber a day. That's less than half of the research-backed target. When I brought it back up through single ingredient whole foods, I was eating the same amount of calories and hunger became almost irrelevant. Fiber slows gastric emptying, physically filling your stomach, and that can support the same satiety pathway that GLP-1 medications like Ozempic target. The effect isn't pharmaceutical level, but the mechanism is real, it's free, and most people aren't getting enough of it. Target 30 to 35 grams daily. 2 handfuls of vegetables per meal plus a serving of whole grains or legumes gets you there. Mistake number 5, junk volume. When I was 240 pounds, I was doing 15 reps with a weight I could have done 30 with. Decently sweaty, but zero progress. The closer you get to muscle failure, the more motor units your body is forced to recruit, and that's where muscle growth actually happens. For compound lifts, research supports ending your sets with about 1 to 2 reps still in the tank. That gives you similar growth with less injury risk when compared to going all the way to failure. On isolation work, you can push closer to the edge, 0 to 1 rep in reserve, but most people never really reach the reps that actually count. Junk food has calories, but no nutrition. Junk volume has reps, but no growth signal. If you could have easily done 5 more, that set probably wasn't productive enough to matter. Mistake number 6, all cardio, no strength. Separate from the cardio intensity issue, this is about what builds a body that burns more over time. A 45-minute run burns 400 to 600 calories, and then it's done. It doesn't meaningfully change your resting metabolic rate. Resistance training does something different. It preserves lean mass while you're in a deficit, which means that the weight you lose actually comes from fat rather than a mix of fat and muscle. And the long-term metabolic benefit of holding that muscle compounds year after year. I hit each muscle group twice weekly with compound movements, and I do 20 to 30 minutes of zone 2 cardio daily. When I did this, my body composition changed within a month. Same calories, different stimulus. Mistake number 7, too much isolation work. Cable crossovers, leg extensions, bicep curls, tricep extensions, lateral raises. If you have 30 minutes in the gym and you're training one muscle group at a time, you're being extremely inefficient. Compound movements like squats, deadlifts, presses, rows, they recruit multiple muscle groups and produce far more metabolic demand. A squat, a row, and a press can hit 80% of your musculature in 12 minutes when it's done close to failure. That doesn't mean isolation work is useless. It's still great for finishing volume or targeting your weak points, but if you're short on time, compounds should be most of your heavy lifting. My lifting sessions are almost always under 30 minutes. 30 minutes is enough if you're using it right. Mistake number 8, not tracking. I was convinced I was in a 500 calorie deficit for weeks, months even. I tracked everything for 14 days, every meal, every snack, cooking oil, the handful of nuts grabbed while walking through the kitchen, the spoonful of peanut butter, estimating it as a tablespoon. I was eating 600 to 800 calories more than I thought I was, and that was on a daily basis. If you estimate you're eating 2,000 calories, but you're eating 2,600, your 500 calorie deficit is actually a 100 calorie surplus. Track everything for 2 weeks. It's a calibration, not a permanent lifestyle. 2 weeks of honest data, and the math starts working again. Mistake number 9. Fighting your environment with willpower. Cookies in the pantry, donuts in the break room, beer in the fridge. Every day you're burning mental energy saying no to things engineered to make you say yes. The problem isn't discipline. The environment was designed to make you fail. Putting processed food in your house and relying on willpower to resist it at 9 p.m. is like leaving a lit candle next to paper. Remove the temptation at the source. Just don't buy it and meal prep your default meals for the work week. When the easiest option is the right option, willpower becomes irrelevant. And finally, mistake number 10, expecting the wrong timeline. I'd set a goal weight, I'd reverse engineer a 4 to 6 week deadline, slash calories way too aggressively, and then burn out by week 4. Every failed attempt was an identity tax. Sustainable fat loss is no more than 1% of your body weight per week, and often it gets slower as you get leaner. Going from 20% to under 10% takes months. If your time frame is 6 weeks, your calorie deficit is just going to be too aggressive and your timeline will crush you before your body catches up. Think in seasons, not weeks. Conservative deficit, protein and fiber, zone 2 daily, compound lifts close to failure. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're stuck because these mistakes stack silently until nothing moves. Most people are 1 or 2 fixes away from real progress, not an entire overhaul. If you want the complete system of how I went from 20% to 9.75% body fat, nutrition, training, recovery, measurements, I put all of that together in one video right here. Watch that next.